This is the Wednesday edition. Today was a big day. It's about money secretly paid family and the taxes owed. You wouldn't know it listening to the Democrats. All they had was race, 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 race. Never saw anything like this. Welcome to the Savage Rap. Thanks for being with me. Of course, I intend to do this probably 4 days a week with a Friday rewrap on my podcast of the Raps of the Week. Today, we're going to talk about money, 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 whistleblower one, whistleblower two. What's interesting, well, as many things interesting, is not only the predictability of the illegitimate Democrat Party, which was actually frightening to watch. The African Americans simply talked about race, not about corruption within the presidential family. The others were there to obfuscate what was being talked about. I have never seen anything. Well, I could say I have in the movies in third world countries. There's a movie from the 60s that I've referenced before called Z about corruption in the nation of Greece when the communists were in power. This is exactly what's going on. And what was most interesting to me in many ways is that the secret ex whistleblower X, was revealed today to be a gay Democrat, Joe Ziegler, which was very interesting because during his own public testimony before three OGP led House committees, he is a gay Democrat married to a man, which is quite shocking, by the way, in many ways when you think about it. It is the Savage Rap. If you care to join us, you cannot. We do not have calls, talk radio, but in many ways, it's better than talk radio because you can see me and interact with me. And I know by the responses on all of the platforms that this is being broadcast, whether it be YouTube, which I used to be limited to, or Twitter. It's we used to post on Twitter afterwards when it was downloaded on YouTube. Now it goes up simultaneously on all these platforms all at once, which is very intriguing. So the hearings today captivated me. I normally pay no attention to committee hearings. I figure it's just sound and fury. It will lead to nothing. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And cynics who I have spoken with are saying, what's the difference? Why get excited? You know that nothing will happen as a result of the hearing. I'm not so sure of this, by the way. I felt that this was the first time since that very razor slim majority of Republicans in the House were able to be seen prosecuting a Democrat. And what's interesting, of course, there's many things interesting, but what's most interesting is this is the first time that we have seen turnabout, and we know turnabout is fair play. But the Democrats didn't like this after years and years and years of persecuting Trump and persecuting him and persecuting him. All they had today was race, 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 Trump, Trump, Trump. The most sickening of all of them to me was Raskin with the I don't know how to put it. He's recovering from lymphoma. He's wearing a covering on his hair from the hair loss and probably some post-surgical stuff. But this man was relentlessly embarrassing to himself and to the Democrats. It was sickening to watch. So what the hell was this all about? Well, I'm going to talk about that and other news stories today. But first, I want to talk about Teddy, the mascot of the Savage Nation. And I'm going to show you the book that I did years ago without interfering with the microphone, if I can, which is Teddy and Me. I'm not selling you a book. I don't even think it's available. And the reason I'm showing this to you today is because a plaque was installed in the local Humane Society in his memory as a result of a donation of the Weiner family for Teddy in supporting both the cost of a veterinarian and equipment in the Humane Society's facilities. Theodore Trueblood, also known as Teddy, you shared our lives for over 18 years and will always be in our hearts. He didn't pass away today. It was several years ago on a Thanksgiving time. And the pictures in here are awesome. Here he is in all his glory. What a dog, huh? What a beautiful, many of you think your dogs are the best. I get it. They're our best friends. But this photographer, Vince Ramini, captured his soul. There he is with the microphone. There's so much in here, including a children's story called Teddy and the Bears, which I almost feel like reading a children's story called Teddy and the Bears, but I don't think I'll do that right now. I'll go back to the hearing. Joe Ziegler, gay Democrat. But what was this hearing really about, and why should you care? That's the real question. And will it lead to anything? Will it actually go anywhere, or is it going to be ignored? We know that the mainstream media didn't cover it. We know you couldn't find it on CNN or MSNBC. We know that they exist because they're the government media complex. They are the socialist/communist news outlets that we talk about all the time, and they're totally owned by the war machine and the Biden crime family. Has the radical left really conquered everything? According to my podcast with Christopher Rufo, he thinks that they have, but we've reached a turning point, and I hope he is right. But let's talk again about what the hell was this about. It's about money, 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 money. Now, during the hearing, I was shocked to hear Raskin, who turns out to be one of the most despicable characters that has ever been in Congress, probably one of the most actually stomach-churning people. I mean, I know he's a partisan. They all are. I get it. They're parts of a party. They're members of a party. So they're partisan on one side, partisan on the other. But Raskin's presentation was particularly stomach-churning. He had the nerve to say that one of the reasons the Biden administration wants to hire 70,000 more IRS agents with guns is to make sure that we all pay our fair share of taxes. I was shocked to hear that he tried to inject that into this discussion. What came out in this hearing, according to Joseph Ziegler, the IRS whistleblower, is that there was money the IRS found that was paid to Hunter Biden and associates on which taxes were not paid between 2014 and 2019. And here they are. From Romania, $3.1 million. Why Romania? From CEFC subsidiary, $3 million. Hudson West 3.7 million. Burisma, that is a corporation in Ukraine, 6.5 million. Total foreign income stream, $17 million, no taxes paid. Now, Biden, when asked about this, the president, a couple of weeks ago, was very fast for a man who's allegedly demented. And he said, where's the money? Basically, he was laughing at those who raised the question. If we took in all this money and didn't pay taxes, and some of it got kicked up to me, the big guy, where did it all go? It's a good question. So I present that to the listeners of the Savage Rap. Where did it all go? I don't know. Does it have anything to do with Ukraine? Does it have anything to the fact that over $100 billion, $140 billion has been pumped into Ukraine, unaccounted for? Where is the money? No one seems to know. And so that really becomes the issue. If there's no evidence, it's like if there's no body in a murder, there's no homicide investigation. Without a body, there's no investigation. So unless you can show where the money is, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. That's going to be the real challenge for the Republicans. So it was fun to watch out and see the Democrats not liking the kind of things they've been doing to us on our side for so long. But on the other hand, what's the good of it if we can't nail them to a cross with hard and fast evidence of where the money is gone? All it talked about was race, race, race. And it was sickening to watch it, by the way. You would think that people of color who've worked so hard to become members of Congress would do something more than what they did to get into college and stay in college, which is use the race card. Here's the clown Chantel Brown asking one of the IRS whistleblowers if he knows the rate at which black taxpayers are audited compared to white taxpayers, and if this hearing will eliminate racial disparity. And then the fool and clown, an embarrassment to himself and his people, Jamie Raskin said, excellent question. What a sad day it is for the Raskin family. So where will it go? I really don't know. I do know that we saw heroes there. The IRS whistleblowers are probably the bravest men in current American political history. Joe Ziegler and Mr. Shapley, their lives are in danger. Now, we all know that they risked everything to perform their functions as IRS agents. The question is, what will happen to them as a result? I don't know. Let's pray to God we've not reached the point where they will disappear. And we go to newspapers to see what they've said about this. Here is Murdoch's New York Post. It's a picture of a half-naked girl searching for a film on a bus ticket to Nashville. What is he thinking? What are the Murdoch people thinking behind this story? MTG shows off X-rated pics of Hunter Biden with a woman while questioning IRS whistleblower. Again, if it has a woman in it, the New York Post is right there. Other than that, you really can't find much about the story. It's down on the second page, bottom of the page. Democrat who wants to do what is right emerges as second IRS Hunter Biden. He's the gay guy, Joe Ziegler. Now, him being gay is an important point. He made it an important point, not me. I have to read you what Joe Ziegler, the whistleblower who was hidden until now, closeted as it were, had to say. Whistleblower one, Mr. Ziegler, said this: I recently discovered that people are saying that I must be more credible because I'm a Democrat who happens to be married to a man. I'm no more credible than this man sitting next to me due to my sexual orientation. That's what he said, or my political beliefs. The truth is, my credibility comes today from my job experience with the IRS and my intimate knowledge of the agency's standard procedures. That's Joe Ziegler. I was raised and have always strived to do what is right. Although I do have my supporters, others have said that I am a traitor to the Democratic Party and that I'm causing more division in our society. I implore you to consider that if you were in my position with the facts as I have stated them, ask yourself if you'd be doing the exact same thing. He concluded by saying, I hope that I'm an example to other LGBTQ people out there who are questioning doing the right thing at the potential costs to themselves and others. That's whistleblower number one. It was amazing. The other whistleblower, Shapley, was another stand-up guy who was very, very heroic today. And he said we should always do the right thing no matter how painful the process might be. I kind of equate this to experience and feelings I encountered when that's again whistleblower too. Again with coming out. I don't want to do that. Anyway, both of them are very brave men. And I wish we had others in the government, in the FBI, in the NSA, in all the other divisions of this vast bureaucracy to stand up and say the right thing before we lose the republic forever. To me, this is no longer about Republican versus Democrat. It's about freedom versus slavery. It's about freedom versus tyranny. It's about whether we want to live in a putative republic of which there's a fragment left or in a total autocracy ruled by a party. You got 20 shell companies, according to Jake LaTurner. He said it's a pursuit of what the Biden family has been up to over the last decade. This is a big day for the Oversight Committee because for months now, we have been talking about the Biden family enterprise of 20 shell companies, over 10 million in payments from foreign governments and foreign companies to Biden family members. And today we're going to hear from two very credible IRS employees. Don't underestimate this hearing and sweep it under the rug because you do so at the risk of losing the nation entirely. Are there any other stories out there worthy of? Let's see what the people are talking about right now on the Savage Rap. The phone number here is 0000000. So let's go to the websites that I look at and see what they have to say. Newsmax says, whistleblower X Ziegler, Hunter Biden case needs special counsel urgently. He's right. Will they get it? No, of course not. But they did expose the DOJ obstruction of the Weiss probe. That's a big deal. The average person, not going to pay attention. It's a hearing in the middle of July. It's already past the middle of July. Most normal people are on vacation. The hearing was scheduled and blocked and scheduled and blocked, so it would run during the summer when people are not paying much attention. So you go to the Drudge Report, which I still look at, and there's not one mention of the entire hearing, which is shocking. Even for Matt Drudge, I just can't believe it. It's still anti-Trump, 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 anti-Trump. You know, I have nothing to say. I don't really want to get into this, but there's not one mention of a hearing of this magnitude on the Drudge Report, which was once the place to go. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Fox News, again, Murdoch, IRS agent, Hunter Biden should face felony in bombshell testimony before Congress. Now, I've said before, I'm obsessed with the obsession about Hunter Biden. It's kind of embarrassing, but if that's all they've got, then that's all they're going to work with. Another headline: Representative Gates stumps Air Force general on gender identity labels. Another gesture in a movie theater under Biden. How do these guys become generals? Lieutenant General Richard M. Clark was unable to define gender identity terms like agender and demigender that were listed in eligibility guidelines for a fellowship that's open to Air Force cadets and other Americans, something Gates noted during the heated exchange. Rep. Gates said, "You're literally pushing a program in the academies that says if you're a cisgender woman, a transgender woman, a non-binary, bigender, two-spirit, demigender." And Gates says, "What's demigender?" He says to General Clark. And Clark says, "Sir, that's a term of the people that are eligible for that particular scholarship that is available too." You hear the language of this dummy? That's Air Force Academy Superintendent, Lieutenant General Richard M. Clark, at a heated Armed Services Subcommittee. Do you realize what has gone on? That we have people obsessed only with race and sex, not confirming anything about the defense of the United States of America. That's what they want these people to apply. More and more people who are queer, more and more people who are sexually confused, more and more people who have nothing about America in their background, just calling for a fellowship for people that they don't even know what the words mean. It's shocking. So they want more women, more sexually, shall we say, I don't have a better word than say sexually deviant people. Why are they obsessed with hiring people who are sexually confused or sex-based? What the hell does that have to do with flying airplanes? Nothing. We need war fighters. We need war fighters, not fighters. We need war fighters, not race fighters. News, we go now to Breitbart. Great site. I'm on it every day. They were in a live hearing of it. And again, it's the Biden family business, paid millions of years, including when Joe was VP. And they kept saying, was Biden when these alleged payments were made? That's not the point. He was steering money to his family. This is a big deal. I have no idea. All I know is they talked about Trump, race. So I was tweeting during the hearings, and I was tweeting over the last few days, and sometimes my tweets are quite good. I'll let you decide before we conclude this Savage Rap for this day. Now on Twitter, live on YouTube, and live on other places simultaneously. My last podcast, which again I invite you to watch, is How the Radical Left Conquered Everything with Christopher Rufo. I'm not as pessimistic as you may think. And here's what I tweeted today during the hearings, and we'll get to the beginning here. And it said, watching Raskin fighting lymphoma, covering up the Biden crime family's crime. Sad to see that even the shadow of death will not deter a partisan liar like Raskin. And that's the part that got to me. Wouldn't you think that a man whose face cancer would stop being such a disgusting, left-wing lying hack like Raskin? Wouldn't you think that being so close to the door of death, he would stop being such a low-life prick? Or other than that, I knew this type in college. I went to grade school with filth like him. These were the type that cheated every second of their life. They were smart, don't get me wrong. They had big mouths. They were fast talkers. They were sharp. They were the type who ratted out other kids in the class. They were the type who stepped on a kid's arch in a schoolyard and said that the kid stepped on their arch. It's sickening. What a hypocrite. There's no word for a man like Raskin, but his name could now become a noun or a verb, which is don't Raskin me. Don't Raskin me. It did not affect this man's character at all. He's learned nothing. He's the low. He's not afraid of karma. He's not afraid of anything. It's frightening to see him carrying water for the Bidens, having no corruption in money laundering or isn't. Someone wrote this. They said Raskin should realize that it's a despicable person, but it doesn't bother him with Democrats over country right. And so there it is, my friends. Someone said Ruth Ginsburg lived 30 years with a terminal illness using leftist hate as a chemo. That's pretty good. It's also pretty sad. Later on today, I tweeted again watching the hearings. I couldn't actually believe what I was watching at some point. I said that Trump, nothing to do with the Biden family. IRS. Later on, occasional cortex, skilled like a mouse, trying to attack Trump. Even had posters like a dumb schoolgirl. I mean, she must be artist in her district. Now, she pretends to be a poor, but you got to know she grew up the daughter of an architect in Westchester, New York. But there she is again with the squeaky little voice and posters, too, behind her, showing how big Trump is. Oh, my, oh, my, oh, my. Like a little schoolgirl. And with the school posters, no less. So here we are now on live today. Again, I want to lead you back to something and to show you what people are interested in. I put up an AK Teddy plaque that was posted in a local humane society for money that was donated by the Wonder family. Close to 20,000 impressions. But the stuff about the Raskin 1,000, Raskin 6,000, the Savage Rap is live right now. We'll probably get by the 1,000 on all platforms. The Teddy thing, can you see this? The Teddy and Me book. I think I'll close by reading the story. I'll show you a picture. Well, there's so many great. Vince Ramini, who took the pictures, is the best pet photographer in the world. This was a great one. Teddy and me on the bed. Now you can't see it. Teddy and me on the bed. Can you see it now? No. With a shotgun, and he's staring at it. He never saw the shotgun on the bed. But I was reading him a bedtime story that I wrote, and I said, here's a bedtime I wrote and read to Ted some rainy nights when the thunder scares, and this is while he was still alive. It's actually a touching story for children. God, the bed still looks the same, but I sure don't look the same as I did in that picture because time waits for no man. I'll read you the story. Would you like that? Because that's what I'm going to conclude with. Teddy and the Bears. It's kind of touching. Let's see how it is to you. Children, you can cut out the rest of this show and only play this for your kids because I'm a good story writer. In the forest, there lived some bears, very little bears. And so no one had ever seen them. In the village, there were hunting dogs that hated bears. They were called poodles. Everyone thought that they were cute because they smiled as poodles do, but they were bred to hunt, not to smile. In this village, there was a kindly old man who loved both dogs and bears. He cried every time the hunters came home with a bear, so he decided to help both bears and dogs. First, he found the smallest of the poodles. Then he secretly married the poodle to another little poodle, and they had 7 small baby poodles. Then he went back into the forest and found an abandoned baby bear that was left behind after his mama was taken by the hunters. He took the baby bear home and introduced her to the small baby poodles. They all played together in Mr. Kindly's cottage. Then one day the old man thought, what's going to happen to them when I'm gone? Who will take care of them? Mr. Kindly decided he would keep choosing from the smallest little bears and the smallest of these dogs and help them have babies. Years later, when Mr. Kindly was gone, and his small cottage sat abandoned in the deep forest of school children stumbled upon it. They slowly tiptoed in. As they looked around, they found torn and yellowed scraps of pictures showing the kindly old man surrounded by little dogs and little bears, all cozy together around a warm fire in the hearth. The children's teacher wondered where all those cute furry animals came from and where they went. Deep in the forest, there was a huge tree whose trunk was bigger than an elephant. It was more than 200 years old. In this tree was a little door carved near the front of the trunk. This This door led to a cave, which spread forever and a mile. And only God in heaven could see where this endless cave led. Somewhere beyond this tree, there is a world where tiny bears and tiny poodles sit together, sipping on honeyed leaves no human has ever seen, that give all the nutrition needed for kindly bears, kindly dogs to live forever and a day. That's Teddy and the Bears, found in Teddy and Me. It's a great children's story that I wrote just for the children of the Savage Nation. And I thank you very much for listening today on the Savage Rap. Be here or be nowhere. I try my best to give you the best I can give you, and I hope I'm giving you the best I can give you. And I thank you for listening. Thank you very much.